we do a mic check?
Yeah.
Oh, it's nice and cool.
Stop putting your face on stuff.
It was just me or...
Why do you have like 30 chats open? This is crazy.
Because you're a popular gay.
No, I'm not. Let's not pretend.
You talk to more people than I do.
You're fine.
It's true. I talk to like 5 people.
You both talk to more people than I do.
That's true.
Well, that's just because you're both homebodies.
What's the delay?
I'm checking your levels, motherfucker.
What?
Say some stuff into the mic.
Okay.
Some stuff into the mic.
Qaiyaan, Qaiyaan. I don't know how to say it.
Who?
My book.
Quinoa.
Qaiyaan. Galactic Pirate.
Extraordinaire.
Here we go.
Pirate Brides.
Okay.
Ready?
Shh.
Episode 14.
You're running through the darkness. You're running through the darkness. Running through the darkness. We don't need the light. Looking for a place to hide. We protect you from the dark. Your life seems so meaningless. We satisfy your dreams. You search for the gate.
Welcome to Between the Covers podcast. I'm Nix,
And I'm Ophelia.
and we're going to read some romance novels. Well, we already read them, but we're going to talk about romance novels today. Surprise! You guys totally didn't see that coming, did you?
So, our book for this week was Rescued by Qaiyaan.
What?
Qaiyaan. Qaiyaan? How do you say it? Qaiy.
Black Stevens,
No.
the main character.
No.
What?
Qaiyaan, the space pirate. Who's Black Stevens?
He's a centaur. Remember?
Centaur.
We talked about it. We talked about reading the centaur.
We talked
book.
about reading this book because it was free on Kindle Unlimited.
Well, horsecock though.
Well,
I was stigmatized.
welcome to Between the Covers podcast. We have a very special episode for you tonight. We read two different
two-book
books.
special. Okay. Well, why don't you start first? Yours sounds really interesting.
All right.
Ophelia.
I read Rescued by Qaiyaan.
Well,
Qaiyaan.
Qaiyaan.
quinoa
Quinoa.
For all intents and purposes, we're gonna say.
for all intents and purposes.
Yeah, that's
Did he
what I
say
said.
all intensive purposes?
I don't know what the fuck he said.
I'm not on mic, so who knows what I said. But what you said.
The Lord knows.
But what you said, Qaiyaan.
Rescued by Qaiyaan by Tamsin Lei.
Yeah,
who
we
read
did
last
not.
week.
Yeah. Well, at least she wrote both of the
We
books.
did, yes. Our books are by the same author, just not the same ones.
I'm so good at this, guys.
All right, I guess I'll talk about my plot.
Yeah, do it. You won't.
No, I won't. Your turn.
No.
So this is a Galactic Space Brides novella.
Novella.
It was like 160 pages or something. It was pretty short.
That's cute.
Yeah. Well, how long was yours?
No. I mean, like, I don't like. She writes books, but like, are they books? I don't think they're really that. They don't count as books.
Even if it was 500 pages, it wouldn't count as a book.
Touche.
Ugh.
No,
All right.
not good. I'm intrigued. Go on.
So, the plot itself, it's like she watched every sci-fi show movie
ever.
and pulled things from the wrong places. Like, didn't, like, the flux capacitor thing or whatever. Or, like, not flux something. Yeah. So, Qaiyaan is a Danadai. I'm making these words. I don't know how to say it.
Okay. She made these words up. You're not making
like
the words up.
the creatures in Avatar. He's like a big guy. He's not blue. He's kind of copper. And he has vibrant blue eyes. And they're super tall and big. And they let out ionic pulses when they mate. But all the females were killed off by a cancer by Centaur, the big corporation, who was doing some testing and let out. There was a cross-species contamination, and all the women got killed off. Then all the men got killed off because they tried to bomb them. They bombed the planet so that to hide their mistake. And then Qaiyaan and the other space pirates who were out in space were safe.
Yeah, right. Okay.
But now they have no mates because all the women are dead. So they're
the last of their species.
Yeah, these are 3 men.
There will never be pure-blooded copper avatars ever again.
Never again. Unless they figure something out. So, and the ionic pulses will kill humans.
Ooh, okay. So they can't fuck people. Humans. Sorry, not people. Humans.
There are other species. Like let's see. The Inashu, the men on Inashu 5, they wear glittery cosmetic powder.
Those sound like my people.
And they have Inashu and eye ridges. And there's some Finn men too, is another breed. Anyway.
Species?
Race. I think she uses that word. So they're floating around. They see the Centaur ship. It's abandoned. They're going to pirate it and take all the loot, whatever's on it. There's medical supplies. So they go to take the medical supplies. Then they find a cryo tank with this woman in it.
OMG, a woman.
And Qayaan's like, oh, we have to rescue her. She's so gorgeous. She's perfect. Let's rescue her. And the Centaur's going to blow the ship up, so we gotta save her. And they're like, no, let's just float her out into space. And they'll have to rescue her. That'll delay the ship so we can get away. Because another Centaur ship shows up.
Oh, okay. And that's why they're going to bomb the first one. Okay.
So they try to get away, and they're like, let's wake her up real quick so we can go into burn mode, which is like the super high speed.
It's hyperspeed.
Hyperspeed, yeah.
Hyperspeed. All right. Oh boy, this is a trip. I need more.
Yep, a lot action packed. Truly. So she wakes up. She's in the med bay, Mech or something.
Okay.
One of the guys on the ship is taking care of the medical. She's like, I have cancer. And they're like, oh, well, we got to treat you for that. Turns out she's lying. She doesn't have cancer. She has these nanobots in her brain. She was a test subject for Centaur, and she was getting transferred to another location to meet her twin brother, Doug. Who's
Doug?
This is Lisa, by the way. The woman's name is Lisa.
Doug and
Doug and Lisa, her twin test subjects.
Those are the worst
names ever. They were grifters,
ever.
criminals. They had problems with the cartel. Centaur picked them up. They said, you can be test subjects or we'll throw you in prison. Galactic prison. So obviously she chooses to be a test subject. So she gets nanobots, something in her brain that they feed off human synapses to function. So she's got these things in her brain. She doesn't want them to see, but she's using it to hack the mainframe of the ship. And she...
What the fuck?
She also hacks to the dark web at some point. I can hack into the dark web. That's one of my quotes.
Let's buy some slaves. Sorry.
You're gonna get us.
Let's hire an assassin.
Yeah. So.
Oh my goodness.
There's some back and forth. Qayaan's corners her alone at one point.
Of course.
And they start making out, and he sends a ionic pulse to try to test her, and she passes out.
Okay.
So he's like, "Oh, I guess the nanobots don't work."
The ion pulse doesn't kill the nanobots?
Where I fell asleep.
Oh.
So I was in and out dozing because it was just so terrible. They end up, she has a virus or something in her nanobots. They fix it. Her nanobots are all better. Maybe. If someone else read it, let me correct me. She finds Doug somehow. They take her to see Doug. He fixes her nanobots.
Okay.
And then they can bang.
And then they can have sex because suddenly ionic pulse
doesn't
kill her?
Nanobots did. They protect her from the ionic pulse, or they feed off the ionic pulses or something. No.
Okay.
I don't know, Doug, she's always like, Doug could do this. Doug could hack into the mainframe quicker. He could do all this stuff. Like, he's way better at everything.
All right, so who are the characters? We've got Quinoa, Lisa, Doug, Big C, the other...
Mekoriuk. There's a 15-year-old one, a couple of the medical one, the pirate one, and Qaiyaan, who's the captain of the hard ship.
The hard
ship. That's their
subtlety is lost on this one.
Yes, that was a major aspect of it. So she also has a lot of contractions on words that you just write another word, like repairman, ''D, repairman. Repairman all but asked Qaiyaan to bend over and spread his cheeks. So I don't know if...
What? What? Hold on. I'm sorry. I need some context for that.
I think this might be an error. The black market repairman, ''D, repairman, all but asked Qaiyaan to bend over and spread his cheeks.
Hold on, let's see.
She's just exaggerating that this black market guy tried to rip him off.
Right. Hold on.
In the next paragraph, she wrote...
Oh, I see. The black market repairman had all but asked.
Yeah.
Is supposed to be what's written. But is she writing in like an allocution or something?
The next paragraph, she wrote
Syndicorp will be looking for their missing ship. Okay.
Yeah, just...
That is bizarre and really off-putting.
Yes.
As someone who appreciates the English language for the hodgepodge mishmash that it is, that's going a little too far.
But she does invent her own language in this. The word for...
Is it good?
No.
Oh.
They just swear with it. Anak. It's just like shit.
Does she give you a glossary?
Yes.
Oh my god.
Yes, she does. Oh, it's Tovik is the young guy on the ship.
That's a cute name. I like that.
Tovik.
That sounds almost...
He's 22.
That
can't even
sounds
grow a beard yet.
He's 22 and he can't grow a beard?
He's a different species.
Oh, yeah. I thought I saw something in the brief interlude where I was looking at this book that said something about beards clicking.
Right. I highlighted that and then I realized it said the beads in his beard were clicking because that's when I was like in and out. I was tired.
Gotcha. That actually does make more sense.
So, Finofan. I'm looking at the glossary.
Okay.
Finofan are aliens with iguana-like frills around their ears and slitted eyes. They like hot and humid atmospheres. They're just briefly mentioned.
Creative.
The word Iluk is brother.
Okay.
Ionic power or shield. A denied an ability to affect matter and gravity.
Okay.
And there's just... cochlear implant.
We have
cybernetic
those,
device that transmits communications via vibrations directly against bones of the ear.
Yeah, but those are like a real thing on Earth.
Yeah, but she chose to put that in the glossary along with her made-up words.
She's taking credit for it. She's like, I totally came up with this, you guys. Cochlear implant.
Syndicorp, a mega corporation that runs a huge section of the galaxy.
I would beat my face against this microphone if I weren't afraid of it like sponging all my makeup off.
So obviously they were pirates because they were mad at Syndicorp and they didn't want to join their side.
Ooh, they're revenge pirates.
So another interesting thing that happened in the story is that Lisa has 2 different color eyes.
Oh, she has don't tell me.
Not heterochromia. She just screws up and says she has a different color eye at one point in the story.
Oh.
In 160 pages, you can't be
dilly-dallying. Flip-flopping on eye color.
So it says, let's see where I highlighted it. Anyway, it says she has slate gray eyes.
Uh-huh.
Before that and after it, dark brown eyes. You can't have slate gray and dark brown.
Those are really not similar at all.
Yeah, just all of the sci-fi language in this is amateur. It's, I don't know. see if I have any more good quotes, but I should have highlighted all the time she used scientific words in very inappropriate ways.
Oh my goodness. That could be like a whole spin-off episode.
Well, it'd be good if you could talk about it, but...
Wow. Okay, I see how it is. Bitch. I feel like the vitriol is taken out of my insults because like I'm slightly sick, so my voice is a little honky right now. I'm like...
Yeah, I'm a little nasally, too.
Oh, you're
My
such a bitch.
sinuses are blocked. We apologize.
Do we?
No.
Take it or leave it.
Do you have any questions?
Was that... You were being very distracting right now, Scorch. Can you like maybe take it down a notch? Do I have any questions?
For me? About
Qaiyaan? Qaiyaan?
Yeah.
So wait, is he all one color? Does he have like a
He's
different color?
copper.
Yeah, I know he's
dark
copper.
hair.
He's dark hair. Like,
And electric blue eyes. And she has slate gray or
what is it about
dark
electric blue and neon green eyes in this woman? She's like,
because they're fantasy creatures. What color does your man have in your story?
I'm
What's
pretty
his
sure
name?
Black Stevens just has brown eyes, but I don't actually remember her mentioning that his eye color like that much.
Did she mention his nipples?
Yeah.
Did his nipples pebble? Because Lisa's did.
Oh, Lisa's nipples pebbled?
Mm-hmm.
Just
Just like, what's her name? Madison?
Madison. Was it Madison?
I don't
God, I
know.
can't even fucking remember. I just like.
Do you remember? Is it Madison?
I didn't read it.
I think it is Madison.
Okay.
I think you're right. I don't like the names she gives to her female protagonists. I
What
think they're
was-
really ugly. Renee. But like, I don't know why. Well, I do know why, but I think of Renee as being like a man's name. Like I really only know dudes named Renee.
There was a girl in my high school named Renee.
I don't associate it. Yeah, I just don't associate it with a female name. So it was like really bizarre to be reading it and just be like, Renee, this and that and blah, blah, blah. Like her best friend's name is Steph, who's apparently like a fucking rock star. Hold on. I'm getting ahead of myself. So my questions for you about quinoa are, do
Or
I have
Lisa.
questions or Lisa?
Or Tovik.
No, I don't give a fuck about
Dog.
Centaur. Do all of the what species are they?
Danidai.
Danidai,
That
whatever.
Danidai is like the Latin.
Like the family name?
It's a class. It's a family name for butterflies. Danidai. I know I'm confusing them.
Are they
It's a similar
butterfly
word.
men?
No, they're
Oh.
just coppery, very tall, big.
Humanoids?
Yep.
They look exactly like humans, only they're copper and tall.
Yes.
They don't
very
have
much.
pointy ears. They don't have claws or like fur or anything.
No.
How unoriginal.
No, they're just coppery.
Okay. Anyway, so do they all have like copper skin and blue eyes, or is there like some genetic variation?
I think they have different eye colors.
Okay.
Because I think she mentions one of the other guys having brown eyes, but who knows with her? Not a lot of continuity in eye colors apparently. So
Okay. Interesting. Tell me a little bit about the romance aspect.
there wasn't a lot of romance. It was kind of just a lot of Qaiyaan standing over Lisa when she's waking up from cryo, when she's getting tests done after she passes out. A lot of him standing over her and getting jealous of the other people, like getting jealous of the medic for
helping
touching
her
her.
and shit. Okay.
Yeah.
Just like being a creepy,
And just,
possessive
like,
dude.
Look at her. We can't float her. Look at her. Just look at her. And then they look at her and then he gets jealous.
So wait, do they not have sex until the end of the book or something? Or do they like...
Almost the end. But they have a couple makeout scenes first.
Wow, they actually have makeout sashes?
Yeah, because then she
That's
passes
so
out
high school.
each time.
I'm just kidding. Oh, right, because the ion pulse. Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right. Okay, so what would you rate this book?
It doesn't quite make the cut.
You're not even gonna rate it? You're like
I'm gonna give it a
0 out of-
1. I'm gonna give it a. There's not a lot of redeeming qualities to it.
Yeah.
As someone who likes a lot of sci-fi,
Oh yeah, that's true.
nothing in it fooled me as being science
Or
as
like
being
plausible.
Not even remotely plausible. Not even very creative. just she used the word flux a few times in ways she doesn't understand. Just
So wait, do you think that your being an avid fan of science fiction was a detriment to your reading this book? Because
Definitely.
you just like associated so many of the things that she had put in there with other shows or characters or books or whatever.
yeah,
Okay.
but she did them in a very amateur manner.
That's really funny
Yeah.
because I felt sort of the same about the book that I read.
Mm-hmm.
Like she was taking things that were pre-established by other better known authors and
Mm-hmm.
kind of trying to fit her, like make her mark on those things.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, that's interesting that you.
Yeah, like having big galactic corporations.
Yeah,
like
that
how
isn't
many
really very interesting or
how many
different.
sci-fi series have that,
Yeah.
and just space pirates,
Space. Ugh.
nanobots. Just
Yeah, no, I totally.
there
feel
was
you.
not an ounce of research that went into this.
That's pretty funny.
She even did some language, some world building, and still I'm not impressed. Tamsin,
So
do
wait,
some reading.
Do you think Tamsin is not as good of an author as the woman who wrote The Shifter? What is her name?
the badger one?
Yeah, the honey badger one.
No, the honey badger, whatever her name is, was a better writer.
Yeah, I think so. I
Yeah.
think so too.
In a lot of ways. Not good, but better.
Yeah, right. I mean, keep in mind we're working with a relatively low threshold here. Like, I don't know, this person isn't that good.
There was I noticed a lot of sexual language, though, throughout it.
Just in terms of
And non-sexual.
non-sexual
Just
scenarios.
like the man, Qaiyaan, repairman had all but asked Qaiyaan to bend over and spread his cheeks.
Gotcha,
And then
yeah,
just
yeah.
like sexually charged language and other aspects.
like she
of
was
it.
trying to
Like-
remind you, like, hey, this is a sexy book.
Right, trying
Yeah.
to just
But I feel like if you have to remind your readers that they're reading a book about sex, then you're not doing your job
No.
as a romance author. Also, I think calling them romance novels is a bit of a misnomer because they should just be called sex novels. I mean, probably something more eloquent than that, but
Yeah.
you know, I guess some of them do have, you know, a big element of romance and like the falling in love and the, you know, conflict between hero and heroine and like all that stuff. But I mean, sometimes it's just like sex. Yes, here's some sex, you know. And I almost like I like those better because they're not parading around pretending to be like something that they're not, you know. They're just like, here's some trash, read it, and you're like, cool, trash. Whereas with like romance novels, you're like, yes, this is trash, but like, no, it's okay because it's a beautiful story.
This is not beautiful. There's no
I know. It's
no
like
redeeming it. like
romance
you would.
novels are exactly like the female version of porn, kind of, because it's like you go to watch a porn thing and it's like, hello, I'm the pizza delivery man and I've got a pizza for you. Like, nobody gives a fuck about the story. Like, the story is just there to lend some veneer of credibility, you know, to the situation, when in actuality you would probably just be okay watching two random people fuck without any context at all. You're just like, cool, this is what I wanted to see. And I feel like romance novels are the same way.
Yeah, this is another one that she ended with her running away with the man at the end, but she didn't really. Well, she was a test subject, so she didn't really
She didn't have
anywhere else.
anything to run away from.
It wasn't like Madison with her apartment and her job and things that she left behind.
That still blows my mind. I'm like, bitch. And she's like, I couldn't pay my apartment rent for 2 months because I ran off with a mermaid man.
Merman.
So I'm just gonna buy a boat now with some money. Where did that money come from? Boats are fucking expensive. Like, did she steal? She probably stole it. She probably had her merman lover like murder some poor hapless lone sailor and just took over the dude's boat.
I believe it,
All right.
but she didn't put that much thought into the story.
No, she really did not at all. Not at all.
Why don't we go over
To the Centaur's bride.
The Centaur's
All right. So, Centaur's bride. So the main character is this chick named Renee. And at the beginning of the book, she is traveling to her family's, well, her recently deceased grandfather's ranch out in Montana, because he named her as the the beneficiary of his will. So she's inheriting this ranch, and she's going out there basically to meet with a real estate agent to sell this ranch because she doesn't know anything about ranching and she needs the money.
Let me guess.
Yeah.
His horses were actually centaurs.
No.
All right.
So so basically she like hangs out all the time with her friend Steph, I think, who is apparently like a rock star and is very famous. And so Steph is always trying to convince Renee to go and do these crazy things like base jumping in Dubai and like swimming in shark cages or like whatever.
In the shark? Oh, is that what it's...
I don't know. She's just basically like, she wants to go around and do all this stuff. This character is so fucking obnoxious. She's literally always on her phone Instagramming everything.
Renee?
No,
Stephanie?
Stephanie, the like rock star. And so I guess it turns out that Renee wants to sell the ranch because she's broke. Like she's blown through her mother's trust fund, like doing all these crazy activities with her rock star friend. So she convinces her friend to come with her to the Montana, to the ranch, to like check it out because it's going to be an adventure.
A busy rock star going out to Montana to a ranch. She probably had to drive 4 hours from the airport.
Yeah, probably. I mean, and like also in the one of the first scenes in the novel, like there's a paparazzi dude like following them in a pickup truck, like taking pictures out the window of them, and it's crazy. It's just like, what is happening? This doesn't make any sense. So we find out that in the will, the grandfather left a note that basically was like, there's treasure on the farm or on the ranch. So she's like, we got to find the treasure. Spoiler alert, the treasure is the horses, but then also there's gold. But he didn't know about the gold. He just knew about the horses, but there is actually also gold.
He said there's treasure, but it was horses. Wouldn't it be important to say there are horses, please feed them?
No. The horses are the treasure because they're not just fucking normal horses. They're shifter horses. So it's fucking shifter people who are like the wild horses, and he basically like provides them with land to run around and like a barn when the weather's bad, and he'll like put out feed and forage and stuff when the winter like is harsh or whatever, and in return like they'll do things around the ranch for him and shit like that. But Black Stevens is not a shifter, he's a centaur, and all of the other shifter horses call him a half-breed because they don't know who his father is, and he's never been able to shift fully from human to horse. So he just shifts into a centaur, and everyone kind of treats him like dirt.
So he has a human
Yeah, they all have a human form.
Oh, okay.
And then while the full-blooded shifters have horse form, he has like centaur form.
So how did she meet him or the shifters? That's what I'm wondering. Like,
they live on the ranch.
Wait, but when did she find out? Like, she didn't already know that
No. She had no idea.
So when did she first find it? What happened when she first found out that they were shifters?
She first found out that they were shifters because, so the bad guy in the story is Lori, who's the lead mare of this herd of shifters. Because in horse culture, I guess, like there's a lead mare who like runs the herd, okay. And then like there's usually a separate herd of it's called a bachelor herd of like younger stallions who just kind of like. Is
this real?
Yeah, no. This is
okay.
This is all actual like horse behavior,
okay.
like wild horse behavior. So Lori is like the lead mare, and she's like this totes gorge Palomino horse, and like has golden hair and perfectly manicured pubic hair apparently, because that's mentioned. And because they have to be naked when they shift, obviously. But anyway, Lori's a total cunt, and she wants to maintain, like, she doesn't want the ranch to be sold, obviously. And so she's basically trying to force Black into marrying Renee so that the land stays in the herds.
But Renee's already there.
Renee gets there and they
Does
meet
she
her.
as humans?
As humans.
So
Yeah.
they think they just work on the
She
farm.
she thinks they're farmhands.
Oh, okay.
Or like
All right.
people.
That's what I was wondering.
Yeah,
like,
people who
oh,
like her grandfather hired to like.
Hi, Black Stevens.
Yeah. And like one of the first things that we see Black Stevens doing is delivering like a foal.
Okay.
Like, because he's a vet, because he's a centaur, so he has low status in the herd, so he wanted to like go do something that would raise his
midwife?
credibility. So he went to vet school, so now he's a veterinarian.
But who is a real horse delivering?
No, it's a shifter, but they give birth in horse form, I guess.
Okay, so he's a midwife.
Yeah, but he's also like, he'll like sit there if they have broken bones or like stitch up
So they get
stuff and
taken care of in horse form instead of human
it's
form?
complicated, I guess. With broken bones, the pin, like if they break, this is really sad. If horses break a leg, usually they just are shot because they can't heal
Yeah.
very well. But if a human breaks a leg, you just put like a couple of bolts in there and
Right.
like, it's fine. But because they're shifters, it doesn't like the bolts don't work well with their physiology. So it like fucks up. So
Just don't shift.
right, but then you're trapped in human form forever and
So
you
are
can
we.
never run free across the plains in your gorgeous horse body. I don't know. Anyway,
Ugh.
that's not really touched upon at the beginning of the novel.
I think I'm asking too much of Tamsin.
Yeah, I think you are too. So anyway, Lori has had a private conversation with Black and is like, you need to marry this bitch so that we get the land and then we'll murder her and you'll have the land and then everybody's happy. But of course he's like fucking bonded with her or something, and like the one day she's been around.
He bonded with
Renee,
Renee?
the girl. Yeah.
immediately. He looked
It
at her
was-
and he's like, oh, I'm bonded. Like,
It was essentially like that. They did some like light flirting, and Steph, the obnoxious rock star friend, was like, "Oh, I'd like to ride a cowboy." And then Renee got like really obsessively jealous and was like, "I saw him first. I called dibs," and like this whole weird thing.
what?
Yeah,
What cowboy?
Black Stevens.
Wait, Lori's trying to claim Black, even though he's low.
No, I said Steph.
Steph's trying to claim Black.
Yeah, because he's just like, she just thinks he's a hot farmhand.
But you said Lori got jealous.
Oh, did I say Lori?
Yeah.
No, Renee. Renee was like
Oh, okay.
mad because
Yeah.
she was like, I called dibs or whatever.
Okay.
Anyway, it's just so friggin' convoluted and stupid. Basically, Black convinces Renee to like go on a camping trip with him to like show her like her grandfather's land and stuff. And his grandmother Black Stevens' grandmother, Mariana, maybe? Some like fancy name. She used to be the lead mare. And she also had like a special relationship, quote unquote, with Renee's grandfather.
Oh.
And she like consented to be his mount, like his horse. So they would like go riding together and stuff. It's like a big deal for shifters. They like don't like to carry humans. So it's like a big deal. She's like, oh, like she was his horse.
Wait, but they're not related.
No.
Okay.
But they both died in an accident riding down these very
The
like
grandfather and his
and
Black's
Black's
grandmother.
grandmother. Yes, they both died in a riding accident, and that's why Renee is flown out.
Okay.
So they're like camping, and he's like, "Look at the beautiful land that's here. Please don't sell it." He's like trying to convince her not to sell. And the herd of shifter horse people is like galloping around at night, and the baby gets cornered by a mountain lion. And so he's like, stay here and build up the fire because mountain lions don't like fire. And then he shifts into Centaur form to like go rescue the baby. But then Renee wants to rescue the baby, and then she sees him in his Centaur form while he rescues both of them from the mountain lion. And then she's like, wow, that's really cool. You have superpowers. And he's like, oh my God, I've only ever been a freak before. Now there's somebody who's
So
like.
that's the first time she sees that the shifters?
Yeah. And that's
Okay.
when he tells her about the shifters. And then Lori shows up with Black's uncle, who's the leader of the bachelor herd. And they're like, you told her. And he's like, I didn't. It's the stuff, blah, blah, blah. And then there's like contention there.
Why do they have the baby?
Well, the whole herd was out running.
Oh, okay.
So the baby, and apparently they don't shift until they're like 2 or 3 years old.
So they're out running as horses.
Yes.
And the baby's a human baby.
No, it's a horse baby. They don't shift until they're.
Oh, they don't shift into human.
Yeah. They don't get their like
okay.
human form until like they're 2 or 3 years old or
Missing
something.
out on some development.
I don't know. Maybe they just like shift into a small child instead of like a baby. I don't know how it works. I don't think this bitch knows how it works either. She just made some shit up.
Mm-hmm.
But there's like a lot of contention because now like she knows that there are shifter people and horse people on the ranch, and she forgot to cancel the appointment with the realtor. So the next day, and they fuck like pretty early on in the book actually.
In human form?
Yes, in human form.
Okay.
Human form. And then, like, the next day, she's like, I'm going to go into town. I need to get away from all this craziness and think. And then, her grandfather's pickup truck is, like, dead, so she can't. She goes into the barn, and Black Stevens, like, eats her out and makes her come, and then like there's like a disturbance outside, someone's pulling up, so they all go outside, and it's this dude that they think is the realtor, but it's not the realtor. It's like some other dude, and he's like, oh, Lori, a Miss Lori so-and-so called about the gold on the getting the ore tested, and everyone's like, the what now and the who. And
She was trying to hide it?
yeah, they send the dude away, and they're like, what the fuck, Lori, there's gold. And she's like, nobody knew, but the grandfather knew, and he wanted to keep it a secret, but like if we had all this money, then we could do this and that and make sure we always had land and all this stuff. And then they start fighting because Lori's like, I'm gonna
Fist fighting?
no, they
verbal?
turn into horses and start like fighting, and Lori's like, I'm gonna kill Renee because we could just forge the marriage documents without her and this and that. So they're like fighting, and it's really intense, and he's in a centaur form, and then the realtor shows up, and she's like, Renee like runs out and meets him, is like, go away, we're having like a sacred ritual. And the guy's like, oh, okay. And then she's like, I've decided not to sell the ranch. I'm in love with Black Stevens, even though it's only been 2 days. And then the realtor leaves, and she comes back, and Black is like kneeling on Lori's neck, and then somehow she breaks her leg, and then it comes out that she murdered the grandfather and the other horse shifter grandmother lady. And then everybody like gets upset and accepts Renee as like the new lead mare or something.
Even though she's human?
Even though she's human. Yeah, dude. And then they're like, we're mate bonded for life. And then there's an epilogue, and she's like, wow, I can't believe like I live on this ranch now, and everything is so amazing, and like let's actually get married. And there's no mention of horse penis at all. I was very upset.
People wanting to kill the protagonist is a theme in all 3 of Tamsin's books so far.
Who wanted to kill Madison?
They wanted Madison? Well, the merman.
Well, I mean,
No,
I guess kind of at the
originally,
beginning.
that was
yeah,
the
yeah,
plan.
okay, yeah. But that wasn't like an ongoing.
Yeah, but that was
thing.
something that was supposed to happen.
Yeah,
Like,
I
in
guess
this
you're right. You're
one,
right.
They wanted to float her out into space.
Yeah, they wanted to not rescue her.
Yeah.
And then this one,
Lori wanted to
kill
her.
Renee. Yeah. I don't know. It was just completely ridiculous. Also, I went through and I highlighted actually every time she used the word fumble or some derivative thereof, because it's like, hey, Scorch. Yeah. Can you unlock the front door? That's what I'm doing. Oh, thanks. You're the best. So I highlighted every time she uses fumble or any derivative of that, because I just noticed there to be a lot of fumbling happening just in general. So like he doesn't want to be fumbling in the dark with a tent when he wants to be having sex. She's fumbling at his waist for the tongue of his belt. He's letting her fumble around a moment before reaching down and flicking the belt loose. She's fumbling at his waistline, trying to unfasten the button.
She's fumbling at his waist.
She groped for the button on his jeans. He cupped her face and kissed her deeply while she fumbled each butterfly brush of her hands against his fly. Like, this bitch does not know how to open a pair of pants.
Wait, that was 4 times fumbling with his pants.
Yes. And that's in chapters 6, 7, and 10. Multiple iterations of her fumbling with a belt or a button and has, like, apparently no idea how to take somebody's goddamn pants off. Fucking ridiculous. And then, as we noticed, like, there is, in fact, a nipple thing going on with this bitch. I have a highlight here in chapter 10. Her pert nipples jutted towards the rafters like a pair of spurs, urging him onward.
Ugh.
Yeah, weird, right? I don't know what that means. And then also, I'd like to point out that consistency, at least in this book, this book was littered with terms like ranch/farm/cowboy terms where like they didn't need to be.
Oh yeah,
Like,
so it's
she
like
was-
the sci-fi.
Yeah. She was just like, hey, this is like a cowboy, like ranchy type story. Check it out. Like lassoing this and tailgating this and like blah blah blah. And you're just like, these words don't make any sense in this context. Like it's kind of like that kid who like desperately wants to be liked by everybody, and so they just like overuse popular slang phrases to like let you know how cool they are. You know what I mean? Where they're just like, yeah, that's super chill. Let's chill, bro. Like chilling and smoking, bro. Like chill. And you're just like, you need to calm down. Like, okay. That's how I feel.
Bro.
I'm like, Tamsin, you need to calm down, okay?
Or do some research and like,
Like,
impress
or just,
us a
like,
little with your
take a
knowledge.
fucking writing class. I don't know, something. Anyway, I give this book a 1 star because it was just terrible.
All right. We've got 2 1-star books. That makes 2 stars.
Oh, Bleeding Hearts. Sorry, these books don't even deserve Bleeding Hearts.
No, I told you they
honestly.
didn't make the cut.
Yeah.
They're getting stars.
They get stars. No Bleeding Hearts here.
No.
Except for mine, because I thought I would get to read about some horsecock, and I didn't. I like how every time I say that, you like choke or look away or get like really uncomfortable.
I have a cold.
She's like,
That's gross.
Ew, horsecock. Gross.
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 Why'd you look at me? When you said horsecock?
Am I not the only one who thinks it's weird? Scorch.
I mean, like,
You're not in agreement that she talks about it too much.
I'm only talking about it because it's a horse shifter book.
it's true.
I understand.
I mean,
But
I was
it's
like
your
really.
disappointment
I was super disappointed
that it wasn't mentioned.
Well, yeah. I mean, he's a centaur. Like, I'm assuming he has a man cock and a horse cock.
Both? He has 2.
No, he's a man cock in man
Oh, it
form and a
shifts.
horse cock in centaur form, I guess. I don't know. My point is that, you know, inquiring minds want to know. Tamsin, can you get on answering that question?
I don't think you want the answer.
No, I don't think I do either. So, there we go. 2 really brilliantly terrible books.
All right.
So, Scorch,
Yes.
you're going to be mad.
Why?
Scorch is like the mother hen who scolds us when we haven't done our job.
Scorch is going to pick a surprise book for us next week.
Yeah, Scorch is going to pick a surprise book for us next week.
I'm picking the book for next
You're
week.
picking the book for next week, boo boo.
And you're not
And
asking
you're not telling,
us first.
Yeah, you're not asking us.
Just make sure it's on Audible.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're going to have a surprise unveiling next week of our book.
If we're lucky, he'll read it too.
If we're lucky, he'll read it and maybe he'll deign to voice his opinion on it.
Well, you know, we do have a producer cam now, so next time I can start.
He's
getting
telling
into
us
it.
that now there's a producer camera, so he can get in on the fun next time. Excellent. I'm excited and terrified all at once. I'm scare-roused by the idea.
Scare around.
I'm just kidding.
Are you trying to be cool by using this hip slang?
Yeah, definitely. You know how cool I am? I'm like the coolest.
You
I have glitter
Scarrours,
on my
bro.
tits. Come on. Isn't that cool?
I can't see.
You can't see my boobs?
Maybe the camera can see. Oh wait,
Yeah.
I'm not blocking your camera.
The camera.
No, you're
I
not.
moved out of the way.
All right. So, pluggy wugs. Buggy wuggies. Anyway, that was a private joke. I apologize. You can find us on Facebook at Between the Covers Podcast. You can find us on Instagram at Between the Covers Podcast. You can find us on Twitter at Between_Covers. We have lovely banners above our heads that have our personal Instagram handles on them, so you can follow us there.
I don't see them.
Sit down. We have an email address, betweenthecoverspodcast@gmail.com, where you can send us questions, comments, concerns, suggestions, anything you like, really. Ophelia is really into giving relationship advice, so if you want some from her, that's a good place to hit her up. We have our sponsors, Havoc Mead, best mead ever. If you live, you were blocking my face, you bitch. Put your fucking finger down.
They just want to see
Yeah, that's what they want to see.
our viewers.
If you're in Massachusetts or Vermont, you should totally check them out. They brew the best mead ever. And also check out our buds over at the Bastard Sermon podcast. They're pretty awesome dudes. I don't know. I feel like I say the same thing about them every week. Have the Scorch make a note. Take a note, Scorch. Have the Bastard Sermon guys tell us what they want me to say about them next week, because I want to say something different. Okay. And then, oh right, merch is coming along still. We'll get back to you on that. Still looking to get a couple of special guests.
Can't rush hard.
Oh my god.
I was hoping it would be loud. I wasn't sure if I hit it hard.
This is a very... I think he just burst his eardrums.
You'll live.
You know, I thought you had those sorts of things under control now, Ophelia. All right, on that note, have a great night, guys, and thanks for joining us Between the Covers.
To the